Hi, it's Maxine, Kaye, and Yoga from the Greater Philadelphia Center for Spiritual Living, bringing you another love note today. Oh, it's been really cold today, and fortunately we have ways of staying warm whether we're inside or outside. And isn't it wonderful that next week we're looking here in Pennsylvania, we are looking forward to some warmer weather. That will be wonderful. And we just flow with the change. And we don't get angry with the weather. There's no point in doing that, although some people do. Rather, it's just a good idea to realize that that's what the weather is today. And we aren't going to change it. We can adapt to it. We don't even need to forgive it. It didn't do anything wrong. It just expressed itself in the way that was appropriate for that day. So we can give thanks that every day we move through a different experience, and every day we move through a different type of weather, and that is just fine. But forgiveness is something that has been occurring to me, especially now with it being Women's History Month. I'm aware that there have been a lot of women over many centuries working for equity and equality, working for fairness, working for a sense of complete acceptance of who each person is, regardless of gender or status or ethnicity or religion or anything else. And I'm thinking of so many so many women who have done marvelous work and been criticized for it, often by men, often by people very, very conservative who really had a hard time watching the status quo change. And even by other women. You know, you should be at home taking care of your babies and baking pies in the kitchen. Things have been changing a lot. I mean, we have so many women that we can look back on and honor and give thanks for making a difference in our lives, whether they're suffragettes or poets or politicians. And, you know, there have been women in leadership positions all over the world, and we're grateful for that as well. Women who have broken into areas that were not acceptable to women before. We have people like Margaret Mead, who was a wonderful anthropologist who went to Samoa and learned about the ways that there's a coming of age there, very different perhaps from our society or other societies, but all societies are different. Why not be willing to take a peek in each one and say, oh, that's interesting, that's unusual. This is like our society, this is very unlike our society, without a great judgment. And she had a lot of criticism after her return and even more after her death. And that's just not fair. And yet, women who create wonderful new expressions of life in this world, who add to our humanity, who add to our spirituality, for the most part, just keep moving forward, even in the midst of criticism. And I'm sure there's been a great deal of forgiveness that has taken place within those women's hearts and minds as they stood tall and continue to speak their truth, continue to stand and march and to enter into places they weren't previously allowed to enter into, not only restaurants and schools, but politics. And I even think about one of my heroes is Rosie the Riveter, you know, a fictional character, but one who represented the women during the time of World War II, who, when the men left for war, stepped in and filled their positions. And it was discovered that women could do more than just change diapers and bake cakes. And most of the women who stepped up to be Rosie the Riveters returned to their regular domestic duties afterwards, but not all of them. And it really made a change in the human consciousness about what is possible and what is appropriate and what is fair. So I honor all of the women who have and continue to make a difference in our consciousness, because doesn't everything begin in consciousness, of course? And we're changing the old ways of thinking and being. We're creating new memes. We're finding ways and discovering opportunities for women and to move forward into new ideas. And it does often take some forgiveness to be able to stand tall and say, this is who I am, and this is what I came here to say and to do, and to accept that not everyone is going to agree with it. And yet, in the long run, we're making a positive difference. So let's stand tall in our truth, no matter what our gender may be. Let's stand tall in our principles, in our courage, in our integrity, in our core values, and don't let the small stuff get us down. And in truth, it's all small stuff. And so we let it roll off, we forgive, we move on, and we rejoice and give thanks for all of the people who've been the way showers in this month. As we're celebrating Women of History, we're particularly thankful for all the women who've made a difference in humanity's consciousness and continue to move us forward into equality, into fairness, into justice, into infinite possibilities. You know the list. You can even add to the list of the women in your life and women in history that you know have added life to all of our lives. We give thanks for that. And so does yoga. She is a woman of her own design as well. So we give thanks for the opportunity to be who we are and to be it fully and completely with no apologies and no regrets, plenty of forgiveness where needed, but mostly standing tall in our truth. We're grateful for that. So join us tomorrow morning if you can. It's 10:30 Eastern Standard Time, and it's going to be daylight time next week, but this week it's still Standard Time. So join us at 10:30 if that's a good time for you. And just go to our website, cslphilly.org, and you can click on the link that takes you either to the YouTube or to the Facebook, and we'll have an opportunity to be with you. You'll have music, you'll have inspiration, and we love continuing to connect with you in that way. And on that same website, on that same link, in fact, you can click and you can see our live streamed Sunday morning celebrations at any time, day or night, any day of the week. And you can also click on archived love notes that Reverend Mike and I have brought to you. So there's always a way to stay connected with us. We're doing everything we can to stay with you, to continue to inspire you, to lift you, to show you the ways that you can make the difference in your life and that you can make the difference in the world as well. You'll also have an opportunity on that website, there's a donate button, where you can make a contribution to the Greater Philadelphia Center for Spiritual Living, which is a beautiful opportunity to keep our message going out into the world. We really care about you. And until we're together again physically, we're going to find all these wonderful ways and means to be together with you virtually. So we love you. We are appreciative of you. And Yoga says, thanks for tuning in. We see you next time. Bye.